Hi everyone, so I'm currently 23 weeks pregnant. I feel like for the last couple of updates I've said, oh, not a lot has changed and everything's just kind of pretty normal, but I feel like this week things are starting to change. So I thought I would share them all with you. The biggest change in all senses of the word is my bump. I just feel like I've all of a sudden it's grown and I now have a definite, obvious baby bump, which with that means people are commenting more and noticing more, which I don't really mind because I quite like this bit when you get to, you know, a certain stage where you can dress to flatter and like to kind of show off your bump a bit more. I think I said this in my last update. I hate that bit where you have to kind of try and squish into clothes that don't quite fit anymore, and or it's just not enough of a bump to wear something really tight fitting and have it look nice. So it's definitely a big enough bump to do that now. I don't mind the comments, provided there's not too much sort of touching. That I find that a bit weird. And I've also noticed that the baby feels a lot bigger inside my tummy now. Like the movements that I can feel them sort of down at the very bottom of my bump and higher up near my ribs as well. So clearly the baby is stretching and getting an awful lot bigger, and it's just really nice to feel definite big movements now, and I absolutely love it. Last night I'm sure I could feel it sort of down really low and up by my ribs at the same time, which, you know, that's pretty big. In my pregnancy app it says it's actually the size of an aubergine now, which is, you know, that's a pretty sizable baby. I'm feeling really, really well, and I don't want to jinx myself by saying that. So far so good, touch wood, and the rest of the family has been ill with colds and I haven't seemed to have caught it yet. I'm hoping that because I'm taking my prenatal vitamins every day and I'm drinking a lot of orange juice and things like that, that's helping me to kind of keep all these germs at bay and not get sick, because I really don't fancy getting ill. My energy levels are really good at the moment. I'm not getting too tired in the evenings like I was before, and yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying this bit while it lasts before I get really huge and uncomfortable. Speaking of being comfortable, I am starting to get a little more unsettled at night time when I sleep. I actually have a pregnancy pillow now, which is fantastic, and I'd never had one before in any of my previous pregnancies, so I didn't really get how much of a difference it would make until I had this one. It's one of those really long ones and it's nice and soft, which helps, but I just find that I can kind of put it between my knees when I'm sleeping, which kind of, I'm a side slash front sleeper. I tend to kind of roll onto my front a little bit, which obviously as your bump gets bigger you can't really do. So it's hard to explain, but it seems to create a little bit more space having my one leg higher up for my bump to kind of fit in that position. And as a result, once I get into that position, I seem to be sleeping really well. Before getting the pillow, I was definitely finding that I'd be tossing and turning a bit more. I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but Aiden comes into our bed a lot at night time, and that I found was disrupting my sleep, and then I was finding it hard to get back off to sleep. So in the last couple of weeks we have bought him a grow clock, which a friend of mine recommended, and it seems to be working a treat. He really likes having the clock, he feels really grown up about it, and he has, I would say 90% of the time he has now stayed in his bed until 6 o'clock in the morning, which is the time that I've set the clock to be an acceptable waking up time. There have been the odd night where he's tried his luck and tried to sneak in at 1 AM, and all I do then is just say, does your clock say that it's time to wake up? And he'll have a little look and say no, and then he goes back to bed with no fuss at all. So I'm gonna just persevere with that and hope that it kind of breaks the habit, because it was a habit. He's not coming in because he's upset or he's had a bad dream or he's unwell. There's nothing like that. It was just purely his body clock had formed this habit of getting up and coming into our room. One thing that I've noticed this week that hasn't really happened to me a great deal in pregnancy before is nosebleeds. I'm not someone who gets nosebleeds, so I find it quite alarming when I blow my nose and there's a fair amount of blood. Sorry if this is a bit gross, but for the last couple of weeks when I've blown my nose, there might have been a little bit of like dried blood in there. Not a great deal, but a couple of days ago I blew my nose and it was like a lot of proper blood. And I know I've Googled it and I have had it before in pregnancy, but it's probably just a case of my memory of it kind of fading over time, but I can't remember it being that much. And yesterday there was a fair amount of blood there. It didn't continue to like come out, it stopped once I finished blowing my nose. So I don't know, I know it's quite common. I Googled it, I've done all the reading, and a couple of my friends have had it during pregnancy as well, so I'm not concerned. I'll mention it in my next midwife appointment so they can check my blood pressure and things, which they would do anyway, but I just thought I'd mention it in case anyone else has had it. One other thing that started in the last week or so is the sort of stretchy, muscular pains at the very base of my bump. I think it was probably around this sort of time in my third pregnancy that I bought myself a bump support band, and I loved that thing. It made such a difference. I was so much more comfortable wearing it, and I'm gonna have to get another one because I can't find it anywhere. But if you haven't used one before, it's like a piece of jersey fabric, but it's the way it's designed, it kind of sits on you and supports your bump from the back and underneath. It really, really helped me out last time. The difference, if I'd forgotten to wear it one day, was massive. I just felt those pains a lot more frequently, and when I was wearing it, I hardly ever got them, so it must be connected. So I'm going to buy myself another one. If you've got any recommendations for any good ones, please leave them below. I think I bought my last one, it was just Mothercare's own brand. So I'd just be interested to know what you found worked for you. But I have to invest in one of those because the stretching pains have started, and let's be honest, they're only going to get worse from this point on. I still haven't bought anything for the baby. I don't know why. Oh well, I do know why actually. It's because I don't know what the gender is, and not that I would even buy anything particularly gender specific. My taste is quite gender neutral with clothes anyway, but I don't know. Maybe it's like once you've had 1 or 2 babies and you're on to like number 3 or 4, it's just not kind of at the front of my mind. But I would like to get 1 or 2 bits and pieces now, just to kind of get me in that frame of mind and to get excited, because I think once you do start collecting your little pile of things together, it does all start to feel so much more real and so much more exciting. So I've had a little nose in the White Company and John Lewis and places like that, and a few of the online stores that I like to buy from, and yeah, I've got my eye on a couple of bits, so maybe I'll place a little order soon. One thing that's on my to-do list for this week is to look into hypnobirthing. It's 3 things actually: hypnobirthing, 3D scans, and pregnancy photographers. The 3D scans I mentioned in my last update, and a few of you commented to say that you had yours around 26 weeks, so I better get cracking. I really do want to have it done, and my husband's really keen to do it as well, so I'm gonna ring around a few this week and try and book that in. Also really keen to look into hypnobirthing this time around. I remember speaking to one of my channel mum friends, Emily Norris, when she was pregnant with her baby Jackson, and she had previously done hypnobirthing, was planning to do it again. I don't know anyone else who's done hypnobirthing, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head, and I've never tried it. It's something I'm really keen to do though, because I think I did a lot of pregnancy yoga before, and that really worked and helped me with breathing techniques and positions and things like that. So I'm planning to do that again, but I think hypnobirthing is just a nice kind of natural accompaniment to that. I definitely am somebody that goes into my own head in labour, which I'm sure a lot of women do. I go very quiet and very introverted, but I think that hypnobirthing would be a real comfort to me and help me to kind of focus internally when I'm in labour, and I just find it really interesting. So I'm currently looking into that as well. And what was the last one? Oh, another one I've never done before, pregnancy photo shoot. Again, some of my channel mum friends have done this, and the photos are just so beautiful, and I don't really have any nice photos of me pregnant that I've taken myself or Dan has taken, and this, with it being my last baby, I just think it obviously it's now or never, and I would quite like to have them to look back on. Yeah, we'll see. This is that big period of time where you don't seem to see the midwife for a while. I haven't had an appointment since I was 18 weeks, and I don't think I've got one until I'm 28 or thereabouts. It's definitely a couple of weeks away, so I'm looking forward to that because that's when they start listening to the baby's heartbeat, and it'll just be nice to see a midwife again. You're in this kind of weird limbo where you've had your 20-week scan and then you just kind of, nothing happens for a couple of months. It's kind of weird, but yes, it'll be nice. So I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to follow my other pregnancy updates, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!